Welcome back to Basketball Colorado. I am your host, Matt Langley. Today we are looking back at the Centennial State Grandstand, and we asked on Twitter for your questions. We're doing a mailbag of collecting all those questions and answering the ones that we got in this format. So from John W. Boswell II asks, who are your top 10 players from each class at their respective position? Didn't necessarily do a top 10. I'll just do kind of like the top guys I saw, because I didn't get to see all the players with 174 participants there at the Grandstand and 2 gyms. Made it hard to kind of get to see everyone and give everyone the time that they really deserved. So these are all based off the kids that I got to see the most of. We're going to have a couple honorable mentions in here just from quickly seeing some things that either we got to see them for a moment or got to see a few things come across Twitter and some videos. So top 3 from 2020 guards, I had Dominique Clifford, Javante Johnson, Keyshawn Maltiba from Fountain Fort Carson. He played really well in the chances that I got to see him. I didn't get to see him play a whole lot, but every time I saw him play, he started off hot, and he was really hard for people to contain in the second gym. And then when he came to the first gym for the one game on Sunday, he really went after Johnson and Clifford when he got a chance and really played hard. And he did a good job collecting rebounds as well from his guard position. A couple of honorable mentions there in their guard spot. Tristan Hurdle was as close to the knockdown shooter that we saw all weekend. And then Zachary Mascaneras from New Mexico had like a 41-point game there at the end of the day on Sunday. So those are our 2020 top guards. And then lead guards kind of took that to another section there. Jordan Montgomery from California, we thought played well, and he brought out the best of Quentin Rocks. And when those two faced off, that was a really good matchup, and you could really see how good of a players that those two were. And then Kobe Sanders also played well. Honorable mentions for Zion Ruckert and Leon Romero. Leon was only there one day. Zion played well all weekend too. He's really smart with the ball, finishing a little better than he had been. Moving on to the forwards. Top 3 forwards. I had Owen Kuntz from Centaurus, Caleb McGill from Grandview, Bryce Sherrill from Nebraska, and then honorable mention for Chase Parker from Nebraska. Thought Kuntz did a good job. He was in our mentioned him in our previous mailbag question. McGill, he was solid all weekend. He was on a pretty stacked team, so he didn't have to do a whole lot. So, rebounding, making an outside shot here or there, just finishing well inside. Did a great job on defense. And then Bryce Sherrill from Nebraska, I thought he was just all over the place. He made good things happen. He got loose balls. He showed he was not just really a glue guy, but with the team that he was on, he did well as a glue guy and just made shots and was a smart player. So really like how he did. And then Chance Parker from Nebraska, honorable mention for him. He was just rough and rugged all weekend. Really gave some of the bigger centers and forwards all they really wanted, because he wasn't backing down from anyone, especially on the defensive end. And then our top 3 centers or bigs, Graham Mike from Overland. We talked about him before. Rashad Ohio Pakai. Sorry how bad I messed up that last name. Big guy from Maryland. He played well. He did a good job getting up and down the floor. Did a good job just making simple plays around the basket. Did a good job rebounding. So he stood out that way. And then, of course, Lucas Mormon from Doherty, we thought had a good weekend. His length really gave a lot of people trouble. He did a good job finishing around the basket, collecting rebounds, and you can see that the game's getting slower for him, which is a good thing. He's playing and not reacting, and reacting more naturally, not thinking as much. So those were our top 2020 players. Moving on to 2021, we have our guards. Thought Julian Hammond from Cherry Creek played well. He hit some outside shots. Really, he's just got a good, he's got a good shot, and it's really hard for him to have a bad day, I think. Jalen Weaver from Smoky Hill, he really did a good job attacking the basket, being around the rim. Showed he could hit an outside shot here or there. And then Trayvon Williams, we thought, also looked like he was more comfortable in just that kind of that setup does well for him, because he's allowed to get in the open floor. That's when he does his best. So he also showed, he also shot well from behind the three. So a lot of promise there. And then our honorable mention guards were Mondo Miller from Valor and Brendan Rigsby from DeBeck. Both of those guys, we didn't get to watch them a whole lot because the first day they were over in the second gym, and when I got a chance to go over and sit down and watch Rigsby play, he rattled off like 10, 15 points right in a row. I heard him and Miller combined the first day in a game for like 50 points or something like that. So two guys that we're definitely going to have to keep our eye on. And then our lead guard, didn't have a whole lot of 2021 lead guards. I think the one that did the best job of the day was Miles Purchase. Just such a good basketball player. Sees the floor well, knows the right plays to make, can step up and hit shots when he's open so that the defense can't sag off of him. Really like how he played. Josh Ornelas had a big scoring game. He's from New Mexico as well. Big scoring game for him there in the second day as well. Our forwards, we had D'Angelo Horn from Smoky, Deshad Jackson from Dakota Ridge, and Eddie McPhee from George Washington. Horn, I thought, he's got a lot more there, and he's getting there. He's finishing really well, not afraid to go dunk the ball. He's got a good set shot. If he's got time to knock down that jumper from beyond the three, he can do it. Deshad Jackson, again, his athleticism is what's making him stand out. And then as he gets more refined, I think it's going to be he's going to be an even better player than he already is. Eddie McPhee, we mentioned him before in our other mailbag, just played well. He did the right things when he needed to, and he didn't make mistakes. And you do those kind of things in a showcase, that stuff starts to stand out, and you're like, oh, he gets it. And then honorable mention there for Aaron Jacob, who we mentioned in our last one. He's from Chaparral. Bigs, we really only picked out one big from the 21 class, and that was Nolan Merrill from Thunder Ridge. Playing, he ran the floor great, got rebounds, had some nice block shots, finished fairly well against some bigger guys when he had the chance. And then in our 2022s, not a whole lot of 2022s to really, I don't want to say pick from, but the camp was very limited on 2022s. But guys like Zyquise Davis, he played well, guard from Denver East. Jeremiah Coleman really stood out he's from Chaparral, really stood out. Great feel for the game. Can make shots, nice floaters. And then another one that was on the same team of Coleman is Vinny May. He stood out. He's from George. He's got a good body to him, and he just kind of had the right. Just kind of knew the right play to make at the right time. And then Zach Keller for our big from that class. I thought he played well, especially getting to go against the top 80 or however they just, being in the top 8 team rotation there. So he really made an impression on us. He didn't look like he was, a fish out of water. He held his own very well. And then, Langston Reynolds looked solid. Going back to the 2021 class, I just remembered Dante Dawson. He gets an honorable mention from us. There's a lot more there with Dawson. I think once he gets his motor going and he's going and he's really in tune with the game, he's really skilled and talented and hard to stop because he's big enough to make a difference in the post, but also he's skilled enough to go out to the wing and be a really good wing player. So once he gets that, kind of locked in and that motor's a little higher, I think he's really going to turn some more heads. But sorry, back to the 2022 class. We were talking about Langston Reynolds. Good feel for the game. You could kind of tell he wanted to be in the bigger gym, and there was a lot of kids that were in the second gym there that you could tell they wanted to be in that first gym, and I think once they got playing, that kind of wore off, and they, kids like Langston showed through and showed like, yeah, he probably should have been over in the first gym. And that's really it for the 2022. So we really got to see a good chunk of. Oh, I want to mention one more. 2021. I thought the 21 class did a good job representing themselves at this camp. I think Skylar Wilson probably opened some eyes with his length and his ability to shoot the ball. So it would have been interesting to see him in the big gym as well, in that top 8 rotation, to see how he would have done in that environment as well. So that's our top players from the showcase by class and kind of position. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back with one more mailbag question and just a few with our next post here. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and do all that other stuff people do on YouTube. Have a good day.